How are we going, folks? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. We are continuing on with our samurai season, and we are getting to the last. This is the last stretch now. I've got about three films left to review after this one, and I'm on the last edition of Vagabond. So Vagabond review is coming soon. Musashi. The book's actually in the house, but I took the dust jacket off because I didn't want to get it damaged carrying it to and from work. So it's such a thick book. Like, a chapter of that book is 10 pages, but that 10 pages is a heavy lift. So I'm going to try and get that done. Basically, the first of the month, I'm going away for 3 weeks, and I want to get Samurai Season done and dusted before going on holiday, so it's done. And I think it's gone on long enough. I think I've bored you all enough with it. And yeah, I want to just have a clean break before going on holiday and have everything sorted before I go. So this week, and I've got about 6 shifts to do before I go on holiday as well. So before I go away, I'm going to basically get it all wrapped up. So tonight we're going to be talking a film which wasn't on the original list of films. This is a last minute edition, but of the films I've got left to watch, this was the shortest. So I've come home from work and just watched this quickly. So we're talking about Three Outlaw Samurai tonight. William from Vendy, who we spoke about, the Sword of Doom. He actually recommended this one to me, but he wasn't sure. Well, basically, it didn't look like we were going to get lined up to review the film together. So basically, this is a last-minute edition, which I'm reviewing on his recommendation. So Three Outlaw Samurai. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like the opposite. Not the anti-Seven Samurai, but kind of like an inverted opposite of Three Outlaw Samurai. Of Seven Samurai. So this one again is black and white. It was released in 1964. It's a pretty quick film as far as the films we've been watching so far. It's only just a 93-minute film. Directed by Hideo Gosha, starring Tetsuro Tanba, who would go on to star or co-star in You Only Live Twice, the James Bond film. Isamu Nagato and Mikijiro Hira. And two fantastic performances by Miyoko Kiwano and Yoshiko Kimana. I hope, but I doubt I've pronounced any of those names right, and I apologise for doing so. So Three Outlaw Samurai starts off with a Ronin samurai. He stumbles upon a house where 3 men have taken a woman hostage, and he flat out just says, "Are you raping her?" And they're like, "No, nothing like that. We've just got this woman tied to a post, but we're not rapists, you weirdo." And basically they say, we're taking her hostage in order to negotiate a deal because the government are coming down on us for our rice. And basically we're being held hostage, so we're taking a hostage of our own. He is kind of disinterested, but thinks I'll stick around for the train wreck that's about to happen. He kind of advises them a little bit, and it's kind of weird. I was like, all right, are they, because there's 3 of them, I was thinking, right, are these the 3 outlaw samurai? Is he going to train them or something weird like that? But no, the 3 outlaws come into it later on. So the more this situation develops, the swordsman takes sympathy for them and kind of sides with them. And that's when the team of the 3 outlaw samurai assemble, really, to take on this sort of overbearing government. So in the inversion, 7 samurai is kind of like it's people taking charge due to lack of governance, whilst Three Outlaw Samurai is a overbearing government. So a I'm trying to think of the word. You know what I mean? An overbearing government. Which we're currently experiencing. So yeah, it's kind of they've arrived at the same conclusion but come from different directions, I guess. The Three Outlaws, apparently it did go on to form a television series, which I've obviously not seen. I'm just looking it up now. Apparently it did develop into a television series. It became an ongoing thing. And yeah, the three characters are pretty dynamic. It verges between serious and there's a bit of humour injected when needed. So the main character is kind of like a Toshiro Mifune character, kind of like a Yojimbo or that typical. When you say like a typical samurai, in the same way there would be like a typical Clint Eastwood cowboy, so to speak. He's that kind of typical samurai. While there's one that's like the humorous one. He says, "Take me." There's a battle about to start. He says, "Take me first because I'm the most tired of the three. I'm the least tired of the three." Something like that. There's a pretty good dynamic between the woman. I think she's not a princess, but she's the daughter of of the governor, and they sell her to a brothel. And there's quite a it's funny because you're seeing a lot at the moment about people like children trafficking and people trafficking. You got the thing with the whole Tate brothers thing going on, and you got films like Sound of Freedom. Obviously in the UK you've got the grooming gang scandal, and you're watching this and you're thinking, yeah, the whole people trafficking thing isn't new, is it? Shamefully. And it's quite funny how it's kind of been formed as like this misogynistic thing, which it is, but it's obviously men are doing this, but we kind of overlooked that women are involved as well. You've got this what's her name, thingy Maxwell, with the Jeffrey Epstein thing. I mean, she was obviously, there's the pimp, but there's the mistress. Do you know what I mean? Like, when Enter the Dragon, when you got the woman that comes in and the row of women, and they go like, she's like, pick one. There's this kind of feeding the meat to the crocodile so the crocodile doesn't eat you sort of thing. And I think it's something that sort of overlooks. There is there's obviously the evil men, but there's that toxic woman as well that's quite happy to throw her fellow women under the bus. And it was just funny because this is set in the sort of the Edo age of Japan, but this obviously went on. And it's funny, it's like nothing really changes, does it? So there's that dynamic to the story, but then you've got the three samurai, and it kind of pans out the same way. And there's a really nice scene. Obviously, these Japanese houses, they have these like paper walls. It's a common thing, but it does look particularly good in this film, where there's a sword fight where it is just shadows, and obviously the sword goes through the paper and the wall collapses. But in that point, that's a pretty iconic shot, and there's a pretty good climactic battle at the end. But I can see how this fits into the samurai canon, but I've got to say, even though it is only 90 minutes, it did drag for me. I did find myself kind of going for my phone a couple of times. I'm sorry, William, mate. I know you recommended it, but I've got to be honest. Maybe I'm getting burnt out at this point. Who knows? But it is a very well revered film. But like I say, I think it's one of those films that it has its place in the canon, but it's not. It wasn't really the most enjoyable of films for me. That's pretty much all I've got to say about it, really. Like I say, it's not. It wasn't terrible. It has its merits, I can see the appeal, but I don't know. Maybe the people that do revere this film haven't just binged 20 samurai films in a row. But I don't know. I'll sit on it and maybe reconsider it in a year or two, and maybe when I'm not doing a thing like this, it may stand out a bit more. But yeah, it was enjoyable enough. But I don't know. From what I have been watching, the bar's set pretty damn high, so maybe that has something to do with it as well. But yeah, it was just I don't know. I was pretty lukewarm on this one, I must admit. But like I say, it's kind of like an anti-samurai, Seven Samurai in a way, rather than samurai as people having to take charge and sort things out for themselves due to lack of governance. This is more a rebellion against a tyrannical government, and it's kind of, when you put the two films together, I guess there's a swing between both. On one side, if you've no government at all, you have anarchy, but then on the other side, you give the government too much power, it then becomes tyranny. And which one's better? What one do you really want? Well, the answer is neither. I suppose that's a lesson to take from that one. So I'll leave it at that for now. We are continuing on. Like I say, I've got a Vagabonds review to do and a Masashi book review to do. I am really trying to finish that book, and it's like I say, it is pretty hard. But like I say, it's a heavy lift. But I will try my best to finish it by the end of the week. And if I don't, I'll just give a summary of what I'm thinking so far. But it is a fantastic book, I can tell you that much so far. So I'm going to get this finished tomorrow. So there'll be a Vagabonds review coming and another movie review hopefully tomorrow as well. So yeah, Samurai season, we're coming to a close. But thank you for watching so far. And yeah, let me know. Three Outlaw Samurai, what do you think of it? Have I been a bit harsh? Do I need to reconsider? Am I just getting tired at this point? Who knows? Let me know in the comments what you think. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll speak to you later.